Hey everybody, it's Eduardo Jackson, CEO and creator of the Cinema Draft Game, back at you with another weekend roundup. Actually, our first weekend recap of our first real money games. Feel the excitement. Gosh, wish I had a soundboard because I clap up myself. But we have a very special guest joining us today. I'm very excited to get her on the podcast, however, incognito. It is my mother, the Draft Mom. Say hello, Mom.
Hello, everyone.
I love it. She's going to be on for our quick, micropod recap, going over the weekend box office results, and also we'll break down the winning call sheet and do a quick once over of her call sheet, see where we all could have improved. All right, so let's get started. Here's the weekend box office results. These are the actuals, as you see over here at Box Office Mojo. And in a classic boner for what happened with the salary scoring on my end, I am right now your largest market inefficiency. I only had the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children actors at roughly in the 9,000 range. That allowed everyone to stack it, to six pack it, or in my case, I believe I full stacked it with 8 actors from that movie, and that was going to be your pathway to success this weekend. It made 28.9 million over the weekend, put a lot of distance between Deepwater Horizon, and which was also another popular pick, especially for the headliners. Magnificent Seven came in third with 15.7 million, which is actually not too bad of a holdover in its third weekend. It dropped 55% from the last weekend, but it didn't have as much new film competition. Storks had, is still hanging in there, 13.5 million. Its gross of only 38.5 probably isn't what, I think it's DreamWorks Animation. I think it was who has it. It probably isn't what they wanted. Warner Brothers. So it probably isn't what they thought it would be coming out the box, but it still made some money. Sully, once again, as I mentioned in previous recap micropods, is holding. It still has a pretty decent hold, just under 9 or 10 million, 105 million to date. So once again, those, no offense, Mom, but older people, they don't turn out all the time on the opening weekend, and they can add legs to a movie like Sully. Have you seen Sully, Mom?
No, I have not yet.
Do you plan on seeing Sully?
I'm trying to think about whether I want to see it or not. Because I kind of know the real story, and it kind of puts me off where that is concerned. But I might. I'm curious about Storks though, so.
Oh, really? Okay, so that, it's it's an animated film, right? It's like
Yeah, I know, and I'm not very up on animated films. I don't particularly like them, but this one looks interesting.
All right. Well, the Draft Mom is interested in Storks. Hear that, Hollywood? You have a 4-quadrant, micro hit on your hands. Masterminds debuted in 6th spot, relatively low, and actually was the dud I kind of thought it would be. It's been, I think, twice delayed. It should have come out, I believe, in this summer, or the dumping ground that usually is August or whatever. And it's just didn't look very fun or funny, even though it's got some star power with Zach Galifianakis, Kristen Wiig, and Jason Sudeikis. Now, this one was going to be your key to winning this week. The Queen of Katwe. It debuted the weekend before, but this was the first weekend it expanded. As you can see, a 718% expansion. So it went from basically 50 screens to 1,200 to over 1,200 screens. And you're going to find out how the Queen of Katwe became a dark horse, last-minute winner for our top call sheet. Don't Breathe, still hanging in there, getting those horror dollars, 2.4 million. Bridget Jones' Baby, dying on life support, 20.9 million. Actually, basically 21 million gross, which is not what we thought this would do, but I hear it's doing well overseas. And rounding out the top 10 is Snowden. That's what kept me from winning our very first feature presentation and the glory. I picked Snowden for my limited release when I probably should have went with Cotway, but hindsight is 2020. So let's dig into those call sheets. Ready, Mom?
Yep.
All right, so let's see. So we're just going to focus on the feature presentation. This is the big money one, the one where it's a $250 free roll, $80 up top, and it had the most participation this weekend. Hopefully we can fill all these out next weekend. And it was just, it was quite a sweat, Mom, I have to admit. So you're we're gonna take a look at the rankings real quick, and our winner, the inaugural first ever feature presentation winner, goes to my boy, our boy, the Mostly Sports podcast host, Jay Devlin. Everybody, we're at home. Give him a hand. Give him a little golf clap.
Yay for Jay.
There you go. The Draft Mom goes, yay for Jay. Oh, you know what, Jay? There's your slogan. Yay for Jay. He was so invested in playing this game. He was texting me all weekend, trying to get the updates, trying to figure out his winning strategy and everything. He was very excited about this game. I really appreciate your interest and support, Jay. And we're about to dig into your call sheet and see how it is. You won. Look at this. He won by less than a full point over Fredo. That's phenomenal opening weekend for Cinema Draft. I almost couldn't have asked for anything more. The sweat was real. He went from being in second place by less than a point after Friday estimates to being, in first by a little bit more than the points by weekend estimates, and it all came down to whether the weekend estimates would hold. And the secret to his win, we're about to get into right now.
And he's a newbie too.
Well, I mean, yeah, everyone's pretty much a newbie. He's actually played the game once or twice before when we were doing the beta. Now, when you mean newbie, Mom, do you mean someone who didn't play the spreadsheet?
Yeah. That's
yeah.
right.
So for those of you who aren't aware, we actually tested this game for the course of a year in a very clunky Google Sheets spreadsheet format, and it was really kind of labor intensive. There's a lot of cutting and pasting, copying and pasting, but it was just so we could work out the game mechanics of what would become Cinema Draft. And so Mom's an OG. Mom's an OG. She's been here since day one. I admit I bullied you into it, Mom, but I appreciate you sticking with it and helping your son out.
Well, it's been fun. I really enjoy playing this game, actually, because it stimulates my thinking about what's out there in movie land.
Oh, I'd love to hear it. All right, and we'll come back to you at the very end to get some thoughts on how the game's evolved. So right now, let's take a look at Jay Devlin's call sheet. As I mentioned earlier, it was the bargain basement price of all the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children salaries that really afforded Jay this win, because it turned out to be the #1 movie at the box office. I didn't see the tracking ahead of time before I made the salaries last week, so I had no idea it was going to be as big a hit as it was going to be. But it was the #1 movie at the box office, so he did what I call a 6-pack, where he got 6 of Miss Peregrine's up in there. He wisely picked what was definitely going to be the second runner-up. It was going to be runner-up movie, if not the first movie, with all the marketing going on for Deepwater Horizon. So he got the 2 headliners from there. He definitely got his headliners from Miss Peregrine's and 4 other actors. And then it was all about the margins. It's all about getting your mandatory platform and your limited release actors. And he went with the foreign film from India, the M.S. Dhoni, The Untold Story. From what I was told, it's about the life of an Indian cricketer and the current captain of the Indian national cricket team. And apparently it did what it was going to do. It actually looks like it made about a little over $1 million, 1.3 million. So that's good for 16 points with the headliner bonus. Disha Patani. Ooh, wow, I'm a fan. It's good looking. And so he got those crucial points there, but what really was a difference was Queen of Katwe. I'm gonna show you why. So he drafted Lupita, which is one of our favorites, Lupita Nyong'o. She's blowing up right now. She's in the Jungle Book. She's in the Queen of Katwe. She's also in Star Wars, the voice of Maz Katana, I think, the barkeep on that weird planet that Han Solo and people go to. And so when you look at Fredo, who just missed history by about 0.66 points, he had a similar lineup construction, similar call sheet construction, but his limited release flick was Don't Breathe. Now, Don't Breathe has actually been in the marketplace for about 5 or 6 weekends now, and so it's kind of run out of steam. But whereas Queen of Katwe in all her screens, and actually Don't Breathe was on. Oh, actually, Don't Breathe had more screens than Queen of Katwe. But Queen of Katwe was a little fresher, a little newer to the marketplace. So Queen of Katwe rode its new expansion to give Jay Devlin the margin, the very, very razor thin margin he needed to win. And it's all about a young girl, or overcomes her disadvantaged upbringing in Uganda to become a chess master. And I've been seeing a lot of the marketing over the weekend. Have you seen the marketing for Queen of Katwe, Mom, like on commercials and stuff?
Yes, I have.
Isn't it adorable? This little girl, she's like, the small one becomes the big one. She throws her hands up. I love that. I don't know if I'll have time to see it before it gets out of theaters, but it's one that's gonna be on my radar, at least for home theater eventually. So also some other, in rounding out our top five, it's your boy CD Swag. That'd be me. And I basically missed when I chose Snowden over Queen of Katwe, and that difference. Actually, if I'd even chosen the Queen of Katwe, I still would have been short, because I went for what I call a full stack. 8, which is the max you can do of any one film's actors. I did 8 actors from Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, did a full stack, and then filled in the margins with Donnie, which seemed to be the right move, but it was right here, Snowden. If I had chosen Queen of Katwe and Lupita and Queen of Katwe, I could have tied and at least shared the glory, although none of the money, because as you know, no employees or family, sorry, Mom, can win money
Yeah.
playing this game. So I came in third. Okoye, who's new to our platform, came in fourth. Good job, Okoye. And then our nemesis, Jaybird. All right, Jaybird, you did a great job overall, and what ended up betraying you, although you got Queen of Katwe right, which is awesome, but what ended up betraying you was Frida. Frida, who had been just a monster for us over the previous weeks, finally ran out of steam, 256 screens, and it just kind of puttered to, actually, how much did it actually earn? Frida actually earned only less than 400,000 this weekend, so its run is pretty much done. But it had a valiant run last week. I think it helped you secure the victory during our non-money test phase. So good job, Jaybird. Way to make top 5, and I believe you're gonna make some money. So it looks like our prize in the top 5: $80 for first, 50 for second. I'm forfeiting my 35, so that'll actually go to the fourth place person, and then and so on and so down. With 25 fifth, $20 for fifth, et cetera, et cetera. So congratulations to everybody who participated. I appreciate you. Spread the word. Tell a friend. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Let's get this thing maxed out for next weekend, which should be our last weekend of private beta. Now let's look into your call sheet, Mom. Are you ready?
No.
Well, this is how we learn, Mom. This is how we learn. So.
Well, let me say before we go into it, I am just coming back from a little hiatus, and I am not into this game just yet. And when I say that, I mean that I haven't really given a lot of thought to what's out there, and I'm not making excuses. But I did fill out my call sheet, and I neglected to go back and look at it and really think about it. And it does require a lot of thought and tune into what's going on outside there. So with that, I'll let you continue with I'm the last person on the list, I noticed.
Well, you know what? I still appreciate you playing, and actually, it looks like we have a bug on our sheet. Looks like we should have gotten some data back on the Beatles. So we actually shortchanged you on some of your points. So hopefully, people in dev will fix that. Unfortunately, it won't necessarily change your placement, but give us your thought process in how you construct your sheet. Why did you go with the picks you went with?
With the what window?
No. Why did you go with the picks that you went with for your actors you went with for your call sheet?
Well, first of all, I thought the Beatles would be good, and it's only because I think I use a lot of emotion in preparing this sheet this time, because I thought that would be a big deal with information on the Beatle coming out.
Rule number 1, dear viewers and listeners: take emotion out of it. You got to go with what's going to be a winner.
Yeah, so that's what with the Beatles. I knew the Magnificent Seven still had a lot of steam in it, so that's why I did add it to my sheet. Unfortunately, I should have put more in, I guess, to at least raise my score. And I don't know. I just had to plug in some extra ones at the last minute to fill out my my requirements, and so that's the wildlife thing, Majig, which I put in. And the stores, as I told you, I kind of like it a little bit. See, there again, emotion.
Yeah.
But basically, the Queen of Catway, I wasn't expecting it to do much of anything, and I don't know why, but I did plug it in a couple of places, and there it is. I can't tell you a good reason why I picked some of these, but I just did, and I obviously was a little bit off, like a lot.
Well, let me tell you what you did do right, though, Draft Mom. You made sure you're heavy on headliners, which is good because as veterans to this game will tell you, headliners will get you a 40% bonus. So,
Yeah.
for example, if a movie makes 10 million, normally, then in an actor, let's take Magnificent Seven for example. So Magnificent Seven, if Ethan Hawke, who's not a headliner, if this made only 10 million this weekend, then Ethan Hawke would have given you 10 points at a wide release format. But since Denzel's a headliner, and you probably pay a little bit up for him, then on a $10 million weekend, you would have actually gotten 14 points for the 40% headliner bonus. So it's a nice little balance of strategy you need to consider when you're constructing your call sheet to make sure you can get headliners where possible because they're going to get you that extra bonus. And then also make sure you fulfill all your requirements as far as staying under budget and having at least one actor from each of the 3 release types: wide, limited, and platform. So good job on the headliners, Mom. But yeah, maybe next week we'll take a little emotion out of it.
Yeah, I guess I will.
So as we prepare to shove off, do you have any quick thoughts on how the game's evolved? Because you've been there from the beginning. Give us the Draft Mom thoughts on how we've gone from spreadsheet to cinema draft.
Well, I certainly like what it has evolved into because it's so much easier to manipulate your pickings of the week, and also easier to it's visually nicer. Basically, I think that on a going forward basis, it's going to be the bomb. It is now. It really is. I like the changes, and I'm looking forward to playing many more games.
All right. Well, you heard it straight from the Draft Mom. We appreciate you participating in our first ever. You've made history yourself, Mom. You are on our very first real money weekend recap with the Draft Mom. I don't know. What do you think, Mom? Think you'll come back? Can I peer pressure you into it?
I think I could.
All right. Well, we won't hold you to it, but anytime you can spare time from your busy schedule, we definitely appreciate it. Thanks everybody for tuning in and for listening. If you hear this on the podcast, and we should have our new talent pool up, hopefully by Tuesday morning. Definitely check us out if you are new to the podcast or the Cinema Draft game. You can find us at cinemadraft.co. That's cinemadraft.co. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. We are on everything from Facebook to YouTube, as well as our podcast, which you can subscribe to at iTunes, the Google Play Store, or anywhere you get your favorite podcast. And that's it for this week's recap. Thanks for sticking with us on the Micropod.
Thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, and thanks, Draft Mom, for coming out. We will see you guys or hear from you guys next time. Oh, and any feedback you have about the podcast, email me at podcast.cinemadraft@gmail.com. Thanks a lot, everybody.